I'm Nella and welcome to my knitting podcast. Let me introduce myself real quick. I am a student in Germany and I'm studying English and music to become a teacher. So let's get into it. First things first, am I wearing anything knitted? The answer is yes. So I'm wearing these socks, which I kind of drafted myself and kind of took the stitch count and just the pattern description for this part, just basically the sock pattern, from Florence Miller's Mountain Walk Chunky DK socks. Now these are not DK, but I just kind of did my own twist on them. And I just did this to use up the yarn because I still had some Peer Gynt in the white and the random sport weight sock yarn in the pink, and I thought it would look stunning in this combination, and I was right. Okay. I was right. Let me check what needle size I used for these. I used 4mm and 4.5mm for these. Now I have to say that the foot part is a bit loose, but since I just use them to lounge or just to have warm feet in bed, this is your reminder to pick up your scrap yarn that you have left over from other projects that you don't know what to do with. Show them some love and use them. Get creative and you'll probably do something very beautiful and stunning with them. All right, let's get to finished objects. And the first object is actually a crochet project, which is these beautiful chicken coasters. Now, I'm not an expert at crochet. This is actually just my second project, and I just followed the YouTube tutorial by Maddie Marie. It was very simple. I did not even count the stitches as I went around like she says in the video, because I honestly, it would be too difficult because I'm just new at it, so that was too much, so I just did them. And I also did a different beak and a different comb. I'll leave my Ravelry down below where I wrote down what I did for that, because I like the beak and the comb to look a little bit more petite and elegant. But yeah, I have made 4 using scrap yarns, and I have the third one here and the fourth one, she escaped. By the way, how cute would it be to have a whole flock of these and just in white, brown, light gray, dark gray, black, just all the colors, and to just have your little flock sitting on the table. That would be so cute. But yeah, these are this. Next project are these cute socks, and these are the Alice's Easter Bunny socks by Stone Knit. I knit these in March. And I used 3 colors. The purple is Drops Nord in the color 25. I think it's called Sweet Orchid. The white is Drops Fable in the color 100. And the gray, I unfortunately don't have this or a whole skein for it anymore. It just looks like this, but let me check. The gray was in 115 light gray Drops Fable, in case you're curious. The pattern was really well, and I have worn these already quite a bit, and because of that they have felted in the heel and in the toe, which I don't mind. I just think they're socks, obviously they're gonna get some wear in them, and they're just so cute. Now I'm kind of new to sock knitting and to colorwork knitting, and this was my first ever colorwork sock and just my second colorwork project in general, and I have made a couple of mistakes. First of all, not knowing color dominance or being too lazy to figure out how or what of my colors is the dominant color, because as you can see at the top, the stitches just look kind of invisible. I think it looks fine on camera, but here you can see the stitches, the purple, you can see it a lot better. And basically, this was also my first time knitting with 2 strands continental style, where I just wrap it around my finger and I just pick up whatever color yarn I want. Yeah, I knit these 2 at a time, which I don't recommend. I do have an issue with these, and that is that they kind of don't look like this on the foot. They kind of look like this. They kind of scrunched up where the bunny is, which is my mistake, of course. But yeah, I have not figured out how to tension these correctly yet, unfortunately. I knit these in a size 2, so the second size, I think. And what I did for the colorwork sections is, first of all, I didn't catch my floats because I heard some people, even the author of this, said you don't have to catch your floats. And whenever I was knitting colorwork sections, I was pulling a lot on the floats to get them loose enough so that the sock would fit. Now the sock fits, but the stitches look a little wonky, and I have pulled some in a bit, but you can just see that it just looks, I don't know, it just does not look as neat as I wanted to, which is fine because I'm still learning. If you have any suggestions on how to improve this, let me know. But yeah, these are my socks, and they're perfect for the Easter time. All right, let's get into my whips. And this is my whip basket. Let's dive right into it. First of all, our socks. Those socks, the bunny socks, were really the start of a new love affair, let's be honest. And these are the White Goose socks by, let me check, I have my iPad here, by Renard and Dormy, I don't really know. I'm knitting these on 2.5mm needles with drops Nord in the blue color. This is the color 26. The white is the same that I used for the bunny socks, just drops Fable 100. And the orangey color is, again, drops Nord, the color 18. The cuff starts a little differently because it has a flare kind of design at the top, but I just went with the regular ribbing just to keep it simple. And then there's a motif here, which again, I did the same mistake with the bunny socks, that I did the color dominance thing wrong. And so you can barely see the stitches. Like here, it just looks like weird gaps. And then here it looks a lot better, but still it looks a little wonky. It does not look perfect. I duplicate the stitches, the orange stitches, because I didn't see the point of having to work out how to knit with 3 colors at the same time, although I could have done it for the bottom. But yeah, they're so cute, and really when I added the feet, they got so much cuter. Yeah, that's really important to know. Yeah, so then there's the goose motif, and then there again, you repeat this motif from the top. You do the heel flap and gusset. By the way, kind of want to brag, but don't these stitches here look so perfect? Also, these stitches look so perfect too, like just the stockinette, and it's not even blocked yet. Yeah, kind of makes up for this part, but that's okay. I'm still learning. Yeah, then you knit the foot, and then you repeat the white small motif again, and then you do the toe. Yeah, I am really excited for these. I cannot wait to wear them. They're gonna be so cute. I hope I finish them before it gets too hot to wear them, but I usually always have cold feet, so I'll be fine. Next project is the Smoke the Sweater. Let me show you. Dun, 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 dun. All right, this is the Smoke the Sweater by the Knitting Skura. I'm knitting this in a size M because I wanted it a bit more oversized. The yarn I use for this is the Lana Grossa Seta Suri in the color 46, which is this beautiful purple color. Now this is a type of a mohair, and I'm holding 2 strands together. So this was quite a pricey project, but I got this yarn for my birthday and I'm very excited about the color. This is inspired by Woozy by Celine because she knit this, and also in a lavender color. Hers is lighter, but she said the yarn was horrible, and so I had to go with something else. But yeah, so first you knit twisted rib, you knit the collar together. Because I thought the inside of my collar looked better than the outside, I switched it, so technically this would be the correct side instead of this. You continue on in the yoke where you do this beautiful smock stitches. Interestingly enough, the stitches at the first, like the stitches of the first row look very open and gapey, and the rest of the stitches look tighter like the knit stitches. I don't know why that is, but it did bother me to where I did frog it and went back and tried to tighten it, but it didn't do anything. I have noticed that on other Ravelry projects, everybody else also have this. Everybody else also has this, so I don't really know why that is. That being said, it is stunning. Then you split for sleeves, where I had to also do this part that's inspired by Celine, and then the designer added it, which is just to have the smock design at the cuffs as well. I did really struggle with the bind off because it would just flare out, and I had to redo it like 5 or 6 times to just different bind offs to figure out what to do. I think with this one you can see it even more. I don't know, maybe blocking wouldn't fix it. I hope so. Yeah, and then I knit the body, and it has this beautiful smock design also on the side. Like, wow, incredible. I also noticed, which I'm not the biggest fan of, that this side looks really neat and tight, and this side looks open and gapey, and I couldn't fix it. But I also noticed on the other designs that they had the same feature, unfortunately, so I don't really know what you could do about that. Probably nothing. But yeah, currently I'm knitting back and forth on the body and to split for sleeves, and then I only have to do ribbing, and then I could be done, but I won't be done because, drumroll please, I have bought these ridiculously small, tiny beads that I plan on adding to this sweater. And this design element was also in the original pattern. I thought it was so beautiful that I do want to do it too. Originally you do knit the beads into the smocking stitch just where the line is here. I tried that, but it was such a pain that I thought I cannot do that. I'm going to hate working on this if I have to do that every 5 rows where you do the smock stitch. So I decided not to do it and to do it afterwards. So after I finish the body, there's going to be a lot of beads to put onto this. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm already committed, so I can't back down now. You know, I mean, I paid €8, so. But yeah, this is this beautiful project, and I'm so excited to wear this. All right, next project is my Arctic Light sweater, and this is stunning. It's beautiful. I'm using Drops Yarn Drops brushed alpaca silk in the color Sweet Orchid, and the number is, if I can see it, is 34. And I'm holding that together with Drops Daisy in the color 7 Sweet Orchid. And I have to admit, I copied a girl on Ravelry who knit this, and I thought it looked stunning, and I just needed her design changes that she made, and I need the color, I need the yarn, I needed it just to look exactly like hers, kind of. So that's kind of what I did. For the collar, I did 8 rows of double seam stitch, and the bottom 2. I will be doing the same for the sleeves. I also added a split sleeve. No, not. I split the body because I thought that was beautiful, and of course she did it, so I wanted to do it too. I cast off using an Italian bind off, and just did it tightly because I didn't want to flare it out. Now this part is blocked, and this last part is not blocked, and so I hope that the bottom just kind of evens out a bit, because currently it looks a little wonky, but we'll see how it goes. Now another feature that you might see is this. There's a seam, and you might be wondering, why is there a seam? There's no seam in the original pattern, and you're correct. The issue is I knit this in size M because I was like, I want this to be a little oversized and just cute and cozy. No, that didn't happen, because if you knit this oversized, it doesn't look cute and just a little slouchy. It looks kind of like this. So you can't really see the cables, and it does not look very good. Unfortunately, I was already up to here before I noticed that, and so I don't want to frog it, so I thought, hey, why not steek it? Mind you, I have never steeked before. This was my first steeking experience. There are no steeks built in this, obviously, and there's not even just a little bit of stockinette where I could have properly done the steeks. So instead what I did was, there were 2 rows on the sides where there was a stockinette, but it was, what's it called again? The stockinette was crossed, and so I couldn't just pick up the loop. And so what I did is I went through the stitch and then picked up the purl on the back side and then came back up. I'm gonna link the video down below that I used to do this. But I basically reinforced the stitches by sewing it. I cut it, did the same on the other side. I then seamed it together, and I feel like I did a really neat job. See, like, ignore the huge hole there, but I feel like it looks really neat and just kind of like it was meant to be like that. Then, just to make sure that the stitches wouldn't unravel, I went back in and closed these off again. I don't know what they're called. I don't know what the stitch is called, but I basically just went through it and just secured the stitches again, and then I loosely sewed these parts to the shirt, or the sweater, I guess. So that's kind of the complications I've been having with this. It doesn't end there, unfortunately, because the sleeves. And currently I am at the sleeves, and I've been frogging them, I think 2 times or 3 times, but I've only been knitting this much, don't worry. But the issue with this, again, and you can see it in all the pictures that everyone has posted, is that you get the bat sleeve and it just looks kind of like this, but even more pronounced. And I don't like that look. And if I've already spent so much time doing so many cables and steeking it, and I want ugly arms, okay? I don't want ugly arms, and so I'm trying to figure out how to fix this. I'm open to suggestions, but ideas so far. On this side, I have rapidly decreased, like really rapidly. It still gives the ugly underarms. I was maybe thinking of kind of sewing this a little shut and just having a smaller armhole. I don't know if that'll do anything though. So this is on a pause till I figure that out. Also, before I finished the body, and when I knew that it was too big, I had this on pause for like half a month or a month because I was so frustrated with this. But yeah, the needle size would be interesting, right? So I knit it in 4mm needle, the collar and the bottom, and then the body I knit with have here? I think 5. Wait, do I have the wrong needle? Why? Okay, that's weird. I don't know. Anyways, 5 and 4 millimeters. However, I could have definitely gone a smaller needle size, or even a complete needle size or half needle size for this part, because I had to reinforce it with some elastic. So yeah, it was a little unfortunate, but it's okay. So yeah, this we won't know when I finish this. It's just, we'll see. It happens when it happens, when I get the idea. I need to drink some water. This is not uncomfortable in any shape or way or form, by the way. Alright, moving on to the whips that have been a little abandoned, only little. And the first is this one. And this one is the, what's it called again? I don't remember. The Ballerina Wrap Top by 2 of Wands. I'm knitting this in 4.5 millimeter needles, size S. However, I started knitting it, and when it said to split for sleeves for the size S, it was way too small. So I just kind of continued. And I also did the modification that Florence Miller did, where she did make one left and make one right on these, so that it would overlap a bit more, so that you wouldn't have so much of your chest out. I'm currently at the point where I have to do the I-cord or some sort of hole to put the I-cord in or something like that, but I don't have the correct stitches, obviously. And I also fear that the body is a bit too loose and baggy. But yeah, the yarn I'm using for this is really, really soft. It's Fashion Silk Blend DK by Rico Design in the color 10, and it's just a very pretty mint color. This is leftover yarn from a different project, and so I don't know. I'm just trying to get rid of it, honestly. But yeah, I just need to get to it. I'll get to it at some point or another. All right, and my last whip for today is this. Any guesses? Any guesses what this could be? This is the Anissa by, I have no idea, by D.O. Keefe. That's definitely wrong, so sorry. But I started this as a beginning of semester cast on, and this is a shawl for the winter time that has cables, and maybe it's a lace motif, I'm not really sure what it is. It's just supposed to be super big. Again, I'm using Drops yarn for this. I'm using Drops Air in the color Sweet Orchid. The number is 41. And it's just very light and fluffy because it's a blown yarn. I have an issue with this though, and I keep on making a mistake in the pattern, and I'm not that far in, but I keep getting purl stitches where there are not supposed to be any purl stitches, and it just looks wrong. Here are purl stitches that are not supposed to be there. And then I also have knit rows, like these 2 rows here of knit stitches. They're not supposed to be there. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I have frocked a little bit of this multiple times and just had to redo it, and just, I don't know what I'm doing wrong with this, but so this is going bad, unfortunately. All right, before I let you go, there is one last thing that I wanted to do, which is weaving in ends. Let me get my needle. And also, if you have stuff to weave in, you have buttons to sew on, you have things to sew, to fix, let's do it right now. Let's do it together, because that's also a part of knitting. that, like it or not, you have to do. So yeah. And this is inspired by Aline from Norwegian Knitter, because she also had a segment where she wove in ends, and it just helps me to weave in my ends. So let's do it together. This is my Ireland sweater. The pattern is by Peyton's, and I think it's called the Honeycomb Sweater. But I named it my Ireland sweater because I was abroad in Ireland, and as a memory to the sweater, I knit this. I knit this afterwards, and I didn't buy the yarn in Ireland or anything, but I just wanted a memory of there. Yeah, I went there because for my studies, I had to go to a country where English is the main language for 3 months and work or study there, and so that's what I did. Alright, I finished this project in January and I still have not woven in the ends. I know, usually I'm really good about weaving in ends, but I don't know. I think it's also because of the collar. I was really unsure if I liked the collar the way it was or if I wanted to change it again, because you knit twisted rib and then you sew it down like this, and so why am I showing it with my hands? Let me just show it on my sweater. Basically, this side has a bit of bulk on it. You can't see it right now, but it has a bit of bulk on it when you wear it, and I did not like that originally. And so yeah, I wasn't sure if I was gonna keep it or redo it, so yeah. This sweater is knit in Pearkins in some white color. I didn't write it down, and I used 3.5mm needles for the ribbing and 4mm for the body and the sleeves. The pattern I cannot recommend because it's written so complicated that I had to write out the steps that you're supposed to do and then had to follow my steps instead of understanding what the pattern said and just doing it by the pattern. It was just unnecessarily complicated. So I don't recommend the pattern. Also, you knit the sleeves, you knit the sweater in parts, back and forth. So you knit the front, bottom up, the back, bottom up, you seam them together, you knit the sleeves, bottom up, you seam those together, which I think is very unnecessary, honestly. You pick up the stitches for the collar, and then you knit the collar and you sew it down. So there's also a ton of ends to take care of. This was my first all over cabled sweater, and I wasn't scared, but it was a lot of work, and it was not that enjoyable, to be honest. Oh my god, do I still have any more ends to weave in? There's like a tiny bit here. That would be really cool. Oh no, never mind. Never mind, there's still some there. So it was my first cabled sweater, and first of all, doing all over cables for someone that's kind of new to knitting is quite a shocker to me. And then having to knit all those pieces and then having to seam them together, it took so much. I was swearing like a sailor. It was not funny because the sides didn't prepare you properly to seam them together beautifully. There was a gap between the stitches of the side, so if you would sew the edges together, like the outer stitches, you would have gaps, just weird looking gaps at the side, and so I kind of had to take the second or third row of stitches so not the outer edge. So it also had some extra bulk at the sides. It's just, I don't know, it was not nice. And then also the front and the sleeves was a little painful to weave in. That being said, I love this sweater. It is very warm. It's also very heavy, obviously, but I love it. It was worth it. I also love the collar. I think I'm just gonna finish weaving this in. I have gone to work, and there was one end that was poking out at the front, and I'm like, that's not really where you want people to notice that you knit this yourself. All right, I have 2 more and then I'm done. Oh my god, so exciting. But yeah, if you like this video, like the video, obviously. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know what you're currently working on or what you were weaving in or fixing. I'm always interested to see what other people are knitting. Let me know if you have any spring knitting plans. I have like knitting plans, but they're not really for spring, or spring, summer, I mean. Just kind of skip over that. Yeah. Is that all? That is all. All right. Oh my god, I can't believe I did it. Wow. It's done. All right. We have come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more, make sure to thumbs up this video and subscribe. Leave a comment down below what you're knitting on currently or what you want to knit on currently, or if I've inspired you to knit on any of these projects, let me know. And I'll see you next time. Bye!